For me, whenever I prepare cook up, I don't call it cook up. I just call it peas rice because I do
Um,
not have that authentic taste. And then you would speak to like one of your friends. I'm like, I don't have that cook up eat taste. And they would say, I mean, now I'm switching to Guyanese Creole, girl, you gotta get it seasoning. And I'm like, which one? I don't know. So I definitely have to go back to the drawing board. So anybody out there who wants to give quick, really authentic Guyanese cooking classes, the way your ayahs and your nanas would cook it, please call me. I'm here.
Like, subscribe, and share to Voices of Linden TV.
Welcome to the Voices of Linden TV Let's Talk show. I have the honor of interviewing today Chaka Langevine Casey, or co-chair of the Alumni Association North American chapter. Good morning, Chaka.
Good morning, Miss Armina. How are you? Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year to you too. It's going to be a great one. So today, as we get started, I wanted to, of course, Chaka, you and I know each other from Watuka Day School. It's where we first met. So just catch me up on some fun activities or fun things that have happened to you since.
Listen, you mentioned Watuka Day School, and you have put me in a whole new space. That was from the 80s. So if I start sharing what part of the 80s, we're going to reveal our ages, and us ladies don't do that right now. So we've met a long time ago, but I clearly remember you in the first grade, actually, because I was in the second grade. And I promise you are nothing less than the firecracker that you are today. Full of energy. You were so silly. Great storyteller, by the way. I mean, if I sat here and tell or reveal or repeat the stories that you shared, you've got a crazy imagination. I thought you would have been an author by now, but you're not. But yeah, you were funny. You really
Well,
were.
yes, I know that you love elephants. So, elephants have great memory, and so do I, it seems. So you and I share that wisdom from so long ago. In terms of where you are today, I know you're a teacher in New York. And so how
Yeah.
did that journey all come about?
It's a journey that I hid from, but some things are just destined. And the reason I preface it like that's because my mom is an educator. And I just thought that you don't always have to be like your parents. So I always hid from that. I did everything in my power not to become the teacher that I am today, but it just didn't escape me. So let's just say it's almost genetic. I started off working on Wall Street, got the whole degree in business and started chasing those dreams. But the educator that my mom was, because she's just recently retired, she tutored part time. And I always ended up in a space where I was doing homework help and just paying attention to how students participated in class, the supports that they needed. And it was just always that. Even at workspaces, you were always writing something, editing something, parts of workshops, and it just always led to space where even if it were not in a classroom, I was always demonstrating some kind of teacher role. And that really came into fruition once I became a mom. Um, Once Masu entered the world in 2006, I returned to work. And that time, we cameras, phone cameras were not the it thing. You had what do you call those cameras from in the past? The Canons and
Polaroids,
all
where
of
you just take the picture and it
yeah, you
comes
just
out the
snap
end.
pictures. And I would say to my relatives, you got to snap pictures of him just to capture moments. Like you, I'm a picture junkie. And I remembered I can't do this anymore once I got pictures of him eating his first mango. And in Guyana, from our culture, a kid eating or devouring their first fruit is like a big thing. And here was this little person at about 6 months enjoying a mango that it was as big as his little head at the time. And it was an exciting moment, but it was also sad for me because I was missing everything. And that moment I thought, you've got to choose a career that's going to balance both. And fortunately for me, the company was downsizing and outsourcing. I could have gone or transferred to those locations, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So once I was home, the dust settled, I jumped right back into school, got an education degree, and the teaching schedule aligned with his growth and how we spent time together in the summers, and my just being a hands-on mom. And here I am, no regrets, because besides loving my kid, I just love children. I love how they function. I love how they think. They bring out the best in me. Actually, they keep me thinking. I thought, I never thought of that. You're silly, you're funny, you're intelligent, you're smart. And here is where I am. So I just put all of that energy into the kids that I teach. So not wanting to be like my mom, I ended up being like my mom, because we would have these robust kitchen talk about techniques and how you put your lessons together and catering to the different types of students. And it's amazing, the transfer, because she's so much like me and I'm so much like her. And we're always warring with love because the personalities are just so strong. But it's working out nicely, actually.
Yes,
So
I could see that
yeah,
with all the bright faces and the smiles. You still have the same face from Watukaday School that I remember. But, it is said that sometimes what we try to run from is actually where we're running towards, but we just don't know we're running. So we're trying so hard to I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that. And you end up being exactly that. And not only do you end up being it, but you end up excelling at it and enjoying the moments of that.
it.
Yes.
And what's even sweeter is that the person that you were not trying to be like, they're there as your supporting cast. And it's the best supporting cast because it's coming from a genuine place coupled with the experience. So it's a win. It's just that you had to mold yourself into that moment, and it's called maturity. So yeah.
Well, and also for your mom, it's probably a moment of great pride because you said it's maturity and support, and to her it's probably something she's been waiting for you to fill into, because sometimes mothers know these things. And I know just from listening to you and knowing you personally, you have an abundance of supportive women around you, your grandma being one of them, your Aya. So tell me a little bit about that.
That Aya person, with managing my emotions now, clearly one of the most intelligent people that I've encountered. And I say this with all of the love in the world. No degrees. I represented degrees that she never had, but she was a manager, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a counselor, a teacher, all of those things encapsulated into one. But the best part of it, with all of those great character traits, she was just very humble. Still the kindest person I've met in my entirety. No judgment. She did not care if you were Muslim, Jewish. She loved you for you. And I share with my family that to this day, she is the only person who has loved me just for me, with the ugly, the good, the sweet, the ups, the downs, just loved me for me. And it's a trait that I've not really found in other people. They have elements of it, but she was just that across the board, just humble with everything that she had. I miss her really and truly. I mean, so many stories to tell. And I wish I just had her for like a little bit more time to just get certain parts that I was ignoring for so long, because you always think that you're going to have them around. Like, for instance, I'm embarrassed to say that as a Guyanese woman, I cannot prepare a third of those delicious meals that she used to prepare, because all I did was sat like a princess on a couch, a stool, excuse me, as the taster. Of course, I cleaned or carried water or whatever it is, but you just waited, sometimes with an attitude, because sometimes some of our meals take a long time to get prepared, but I was the best taster. And now I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to prepare that for mazu because I never practiced it. I just know how it's supposed to taste, So for the ladies out there, I know we have our views about being homemakers or all of the traditional things, but get those recipes and practice them, because when they're gone forever. Yeah, I miss
So
her
that when
cooking.
you're on the phone with Chaka, you don't have to ask her if you put castor or brown sugar in the cook-up. That was us yesterday. I wasn't sure which one you put in the cook-up. It's castor.
I don't know, because I would prepare, for me, whenever I prepare cook-up, I don't call it cook-up. I just call it peas rice, because I do not have that authentic taste. And then you would speak to like one of your friends. I'm like, I don't have that cook-up-y taste. And they would say, now I'm switching to Guyanese Creole, girl, you gotta get it seasoning. And I'm like, which one? I don't know. So I definitely have to go back to the drawing board. So anybody out there who wants to give quick, really authentic Guyanese cooking classes, the way your ayahs and your nanas would cook it, please call me. I'm here. I'm here for it.
Oh, well, I do want to tell you something based on what you touched earlier. I think that you may not have found people that embody what your ayah is to you, but you embody those characteristics because you're always humble, smiling, passionate about what you do. So you have a lot of her in you. So the time that you spent on that stool, as much as you're waiting for food, may not have been wasted after all, Chaka. There was a lot of love that passed. So I wanted to make sure that you know that.
I'm going to receive that. That moment is reassuring, because I thought, you sat your little round self on that stool all of these years, community service hours, and you don't even know how to prepare a pot of cook-up, much less pepper pot. And we're going to stop about what else I can't do.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say? A pot is not just food. A pot is all the stuff in the heart and the time spent and all. She was cooking. She was just cooking something else. Something else. Totally. She was cooking a little bit of you, all the pieces of you. So with that said, I don't know. I have to ask this question. I'm dying to know. My ayah or my nanny had she used to keep all her money in her bosom. Was your ayah like that?
Listen to me. It's crazy that you asked about that, because I do the same crap and it drives my mom crazy. So she says, Chaka, I can't control what you do. My mom is another psychologist too. I can't control what you do, but I can recommend this. Can you wrap those things, the items, in some kind of napkin or tissue? So I've started doing that. Like, you wrap things in your in a piece of a paper towel or something, and you put it in there. I've got a quick funny story for you. When I was doing my graduation ceremony many years ago, of course, once you're wearing your gown and everything, you don't have space for a wallet, and they don't prepare the gowns with pockets. So silly me, you want your phone because you want to take quick pictures. I always carry a pen with me, a little notebook for writing things. So here I was, I like stuffed everything in my chest area, right? So all of a sudden I'm looking like Anna Nicole Smith because it's like a wallet on my chest. And a gentleman said to me, do you have a pen? I said, yes, but you've got to give me a moment. So I swiveled away from him, reached into my space, got the pen really quickly, and I gave it to him. And this clown says to me, it's nice and warm. I said, you know what? You're welcome. So I store things in my chest. It's crazy. I really do. And money too.
Yeah. Well, I remember going to Plaisance Market with my grandma. I used to go every summer and stay with her in Ogle. And I swear, I used to think she had never ending money in there, but she used to wrap it in a handkerchief, mind you. Well, thanks for sharing all those fun moments with us and the things that really make you who you are today. And such a fantastic, person you are. And on top of that, you are our co-chair. So at this time, I'd like to ask you to just tell me a little bit, share with us a little bit about what we were able to achieve in 2022 and what we're going to be looking forward to in 2023.
All right, look at that. As a co-chair, I must acknowledge my chair. My chair, our chair, is Mr. Andrew James, as Sir Andrew, as I call him. It's been a good year with us, and I continue to thank him for trusting me, because you always have to work as a team. You've always got to troubleshoot, have conversations, agree to disagree. And we've not had those moments as yet, I think, because of the trust and respect and the understanding of what the ultimate goal is, and that is to make sure that all of our intentions for the organization is met first, instead of paying attention to what our personalities are seeking. So with that said, I must acknowledge our chair as that person. Being his co-chair is just a feather in my cap to also pursue what we have as a team. For 2022, we were able to do a few things. I hope I remember them all. One of them is the Douglas Gittins Award. As you know, Douglas Gittins was a former student of Mackenzie High School, who also became a teacher, and sadly, we lost him during the pandemic. And in honor of him and to continue his name, we've established an award. We also have our water system that is up and running and was also named in his honor. We also were able to complete getting estimates for the library that we intend to update. That's a big thing for us. However, we must be reminded that even though we're the organization, we have to be mindful of all of the levels that we must encounter and have conversations with. It's not just an umbrella, you show up and you do things. There's something called protocol that we must follow and honor. So if it appears as though we're taking too long to get things done and achieved, it's not because we're dragging our feet. There's something called protocol, and we have to honor that. So please continue to be patient with us. There's so many other things that we did do for 2022 that now seems so last year. Forgive me. Armina, can you remind me of the other event that we completed for last year?
One of the greatest things that we did achieve, and it comes back to what you said, not only with protocol, but this is all volunteer. It's all a bunch of people coming together for something good. And this year we launched our YouTube. One of the greatest things the alumni did was launch our YouTube channel with these, Voices of Linden interviews that we're doing. And we've taken it from 0 subscribers to now almost over 900 subscribers. So we're just a little bit shy away from becoming monetized. So this is the great time that, Chaka and I would like to remind everybody that it takes nothing for you to subscribe. And then we're going to start generating some income that's going to go directly back to the school. And I think that, we've donated books and we have joined and tried to align while supporting the school in making it better. And so just a great reminder that we can't do this without you. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. So Chaka, what are we looking forward to for 2023?
Before we look forward to 2023, we'd like to acknowledge our top CAPE student, Julia Backus. Congratulations. The sky is the limit. And without further ado, our head teacher, Miss Althea Seeley, deputy teacher, Miss Melissa Smith, and all of the staff. You make it possible, and we're here as your cheer to support you in all that you need to do. For 2023, here we are. The group is back. We're
It's
here.
amazing.
We're healthy. And the same group is willing to do it one more year. So we will acknowledge Miss Roxana, Miss Armina, Miss Allen, Andrew, and Gordon Mosley, and Dr. Cecile Boston for making this possible every year. We've got bigger, brighter things coming forward. Again, I will beg of you just to be patient, because everything is time consuming and is protocol. And more importantly, we're all volunteering our time. And as you can imagine, we're living in this part of the world, and we have to respect too that you guys get busy, but in this part of the world is a different type of busy. So when myself, Andrew, Armina, Ms. Florence take the time out, because we're always in a different time zone, please continue to be patient with us. We love you already for that.
Oh, yes. It's only 10 something here. I had to wake up early.
It's 12:49 for me.
Yes. And they live 2 hours ahead of me, and they're now getting up.
telling my
Anyway, with
secrets.
that said, I think it's going to be fantastic 2023 for the school. And I know we're trying to raise funds to paint the library. So that's
Yeah.
going to be exciting. And we look forward to that. And as we continue to transition into becoming even better as an alumni and helping our school gravitate to, an outcome that is beneficial to the entire community, not just the school. So Chaka, back to now that we've discussed all that, tell me a little bit about a valuable lesson that you've learned in life and how you are embarking on the journey.
Oh my goodness. I'm happy that you asked that question. Friendship. Friendship is a big thing for me. I'm learning with time that friendships is a relationship. I didn't understand that. And as we mature, I recognize that people say, oh, but friendships is for a reason or a season, that expression that you guys use. And I thought, but it shouldn't be that way for me, because I hold friendships really dearly. It's like you're part of my family. I've got friends that I don't even refer to as a friend. It's my cousin. It's a family, and unfortunately, I lost one of my longest friendships, like a more than 30 something year friendship. And I actually grieved. Like I grieved for a long time because I couldn't understand that it ended. And like any relationship, I'm learning that there's a grieving process involved. And it's not because we had a fight or a cussing out. I mean, it's not even my personality, but we just grew apart. You went your way, I went my way. However, if we see each other, we greet, guarded pleasantries, but it's not the same, and I'm learning more and more that people are not going to end where they started with you, and I didn't realize that can happen with friendships. I thought it was just, relationships. The two of them broke up and they're done. But with friendships, yeah, it's happening more and more. And I thought, no, did I say something? Did I do something? And I'm learning to embrace that it's run its course, and you just got to let it go in that direction. And you wish the person well. I mean, no ill will, but it's just painful for me, especially because most of my friends that I have or had, air quotes, you wanted to extend that journey with your kids and their kids, because when you were kids yourselves, you always thought, oh, when we have children, they're going to grow together and they're going to do all of these fun things. And then that gets interrupted and you think, oh boy, what happened here? So it's one of those things that for 2023, I'm going to be more deliberate about, and that's protecting the friendships that I have, and also recognizing that if there's nothing left, that's okay too. That's one of the things for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll read to you a Jay Shetty quote, and it says, "The role you play in someone else's life will always match the role they play in yours." And I 100% agree with you that friendships are like relationships. And I'm very privileged to have had not be quite in that circumstance, but I've been around friends who have lost great friends. And I always say you're correct. Friendships are like a marriage, and on top of that, as human beings, we change and we become different ourselves. So our friends are also changing, and they're like an investment. Like when I went back to Guyana this year, sans children and sans anybody else, I went and just invested in my 30-year-old friendships that I had with as many girlfriends as I could, and having girl talk and reminiscing about our younger years and what we are as the embodiment of the women we have become, and the laughter and just the silliness. And I am well known for jumping on my friends. And
don't leave me out.
Them,
I'm just as
tickling them. You have no choice but to tell me what's happening in your life. Like I mean, I did see a change in some women are holding secrets in that they don't necessarily. So it might not actually be on you. It just might be things that they're going through, and you have to let them go so they can gravitate and go into whatever it is that they're going through. And as long as your core stays true to you of who you are, because chances are too that you may be going through something that you don't even know you're growing towards, and you're changing. And I like to always say it's that pattern interrupt. When I have to say, Chaka, I have a diverse group of women that I'm connected with, and I find that no matter how different we all are, if our energies are in sync for pure intention of betterment for each other, then I find somehow we're all moving together. But when the minute I sense a shift in anything, I always reach out and say, okay, not just how are you? Because nobody will ever tell you the truth. I'll just be like, tell me what's going on. Like, really what's going on. If not, I'm taking my car and I'm coming over to your house. Friendships are losses sometimes that you have to let go, because you don't know what's coming in to your space. So embrace it, girl. 2023 is here. And you know what? Sometimes the cycle of life is a very strange thing.
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing. I find like people that I was never connected with in the past are like full force in my life now. And it's like you're embracing it, and everyone's going to bring something dynamic about themselves, some kind of gift, good or bad, that's going to teach you a little bit more about life. So stay true to the core of who you are, but learn from it. And I think that is indeed a valuable lesson, because sometimes many people in today's society, where everyone's becoming, really depressed, and sometimes people aren't handling it well, that is indeed a valuable lesson, but not only about the journey of that person, but the journey of yourself. So I am cheersing you to embracing the value of friendship, and more so this year. You're always going to have me. So
listen, like I've said, 2023 or some part of it, I'm heading out in your direction. So
I look forward
we're going to be giggling.
We're going to be giggling together.
That's fact. Yeah, we're going to be giggling.
Well, I'm kind of a crazy adventurous, so be scared. By the way, I happen to notice that you love elephants and you have them on your wall. Is there something particular that you love so much about them? Do they represent something that's inside you too?
You know what? In my core group of friends, I'm known as Gigabytes, and that's because I don't forget things. Like I remember names and places and dates and specific things, to the point where I think I start scaring myself, like, oh my goodness, they may not trust me because I may say something that they don't want anybody to be reminded of. So, I've turned that moment off. But my love for elephants began when in Guyana at the zoo at the time in the 80s, we had that big elephant, and I don't know what the name of the elephant is at the time. And I thought, wow, this is a really nice big guy. And I remember kids just being so excited to see this huge creature, just moving around. But as I got older, I got upset because elephants travel in herds, and just to know that he was just, I'm not sure if it was a boy or girl elephant, he or she was there by themselves, just going around in circles all day, that annoyed me. But having the elephant there, you were able to see this live. So it was a benefit for us as kids, and of course the adults too. But it wasn't a benefit for the elephant. I've got the elephant chimes. I've got one of my street fairs. I was able to get an elephant purse.
Oh, very nice.
And then I went to some random store. I got this baby.
Oh, it's beautiful.
There are like three of them around my room. So I'm an elephant.
So I think that meeting with the elephant when you were a child really impacted you, because Elephants are magnificent, they're wise, and they are free. As much as sometimes they're there, and the reason I say they're free, because we do see them in zoos and we see them all over, and they're meant to roam the world and spread their wisdom. They're one of the most adaptable creatures that God has gifted us with. But even within their, as we see them in confined spaces, they are so intelligent, but somehow when you really look into their eyes, like the first time I saw an elephant, I think I forgot about the largeness of it. And I focused on its eyes. It has the gentlest eyes that I have ever come upon. And I thought to myself, this is why these are some of the wisest creatures. They can just learn and memorize everything. I actually told my kids when they were younger that grew up to be like an elephant. Because
really,
yes, and so for a very, very long time as a toddler, my little one thought she was an elephant, and she would just do this and walk around. She'd be like, and I have to tell you, she has grown up to be quite a wise young woman at 14. But I do see a lot of wisdom in you, Chaka. I see it portrayed in your smile, in your face, in the way that you really carry yourself through, your softness, your gentleness, even your fierceness. It's a natural part. And that actually brings us to the end of our interview, our fun interview. But I cannot help, because it is January 1st of 2023, to ask you, as we, finalize our moment together here today, what do you foresee, not only for yourself, but wishes for 2023 for anyone that's listening?
For those who are out there, if you're the resolution type of person, the year has 365 days. And if you put yourself out in a space where you're like, oh, I'm going to be doing this, what is the general? I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise, just to list a few of the popular things that occur. If it doesn't happen in the first 5 days, that's okay. You've got 360 days to figure it out. I'm not the resolution type of person. I just believe in just bettering me, and being in a space where good behavior and goal setting is modeled for me. And I make that change within that space. So I'm not the resolution type of person, but if you are, don't beat up on yourself. You got 364 days and a few hours left to figure it out. So there you are. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. That's exciting. I wish you well on that journey. Yes. So,
Armina,
well, we look forward to chatting again soon, and I'm sure I'll see you on the board. And for myself, I do wish everyone, a healthy, happy, prosperous, focused, with pure intentional, moments of 2023. And I know that it's going to be a great one. And even for the moments that don't feel that great, do know that tomorrow brings a brand new start. So I always say a new year is like an unpainted canvas, and we sprinkle our little moments here and there. And at the end of the year, we get to see what we've achieved and what we've painted in this story called life. I had to end it that way because apparently I'm such a great storyteller.
And you know what? I was just about to say thank you for being the first person to interview me for the year. And I'm not going to add anything else to that story. The great storyteller that you are. Hugs and kisses. Thank you.
Love you.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Take care.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year. Bye, Chaka.
Bye, Armina. Thank you.